Hi everyone, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, usually revolves around cross stitch, some knitting and some crochet. And today you're going to see all three. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll talk about what happened this week and plans for the next. Okay, so first off, you know that I've been working on the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. Usually when I'm in the car with my husband or waiting at an appointment or something like that. Well, this week I decided enough is enough. I'm going to finish this hat. So Thursday and Friday at work, I worked on this during my lunch break. I worked on it in the evening when I got home on Friday, and I finished the hat Saturday morning, and I cannot wait to show you. So here it is. Finished. It needs to be blocked. I think my decreases were a little bit tight on the needle changes since I was using magic loop, but I think blocking it will help with that. I left my marker in because I wanted to show you how much I got done since the last time I showed you this until this week when it got finished. So I was here and I had to knit all of that. So I am super excited. And for those of you that are new here or haven't seen this hat by Ysolda Teague before, it is a really long hat that you fold in half. So you start at one end and increase out, you knit for a while, and then you decrease back down. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that. The pattern is very affordable. It is brilliantly written. It is great. So what you do is you pick up your needles, you pick up your yarn, you start knitting. And then once you basically get through the increases and maybe do another inch, not through the decreases because you need to know how much you need to increase up to. But once you get started, you can take a quick measurement of your gauge. And she has a chart that shows you if your gauge is this is what you need to do. And it's brilliant. So I'm going to link it down below. If you like knitting, and this is simple knitting, it's just stockinette, which is knitting all the way around, just some knitting, knitting and increases, decreases. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. So this is super great. This is the second one I've made, and I have plans to make more. I'm going to make one for my daughter, and then one for a church friend, if I can find some yarn that he will like. And then I'm just going to keep making them because they are super great. They're double thickness and they're really warm. So on this one, I probably could have made it a little bit longer to have a wider brim because you can put it on and leave it that way, or you can fold the brim up. But I have this much yarn left over, so I could have made it a little bit longer. But to be honest, I was just sick of it. And the hat pattern itself is not what I was sick of. The hat itself is not what I was sick of. I don't like knitting magic loop, and I am over it. So thankfully, my family got me the appropriate needles, so the next hat does not have to be done magic loop. So still go get the pattern. It's great. Okay, and that was using yarn from lolodidit. They were originally out of Las Vegas, but have since moved to Kentucky. The yarn is reasonably priced when you compare to other hand-dyed indie dyer yarns. That was from the Quotable Dumbledore Club from a year and a half ago, and I absolutely love it. I've knit several other skeins from that club, and my goal is to knit them all into something beautiful, of course. Okay, so next up is crochet. If you've been with me, again, you may know what's coming up. If you're new here, last time I talked about this project, I said no judgment because I can make pieces, but my skill set is not in the area of putting them together. So I'm going to show you the final product of this project in no judgment, because I already feel like I'm already being too hard on myself about the execution of putting the pieces together. So just be kind, please. If you have anything to say, if it's not kind, please don't say it, because I'm already beating myself up. So here it is. I finished the doll, and that's all we're going to call it. If you're new here, we're just referencing it as the doll. And so I worked on this quite a bit since the last time I showed you. I think the last time Well, I don't remember. I think the last time he just had one arm, but it wasn't even put on. So now he has both arms. He has his eyelids and his eyebrows and his lips and his nose. And he got his ears put on. And also what he, besides his, you know, underneath of his jacket, he was supposed to get little tiny butt cheeks. I don't know why, but it was called for in the pattern. I found when I was doing it that I probably could have stuffed the body a little bit more, so that way they were a little bit more pronounced. But this project is for my daughter, and she loves him the way that he is. So I'm gonna, after this video, I'm gonna hand him off, and this will be hers now. But I did get it done. It did call for a button on the jacket. This was the one that I found in my stash. I think it's a little bit too small. So I just tied it on with a bow on the back. So that way if we wanted to or needed to, we could replace it. But I will also link the pattern of this down below. It is a little bit, the pattern is a little bit different because of copyright infringement. But I think that she has the instructions still included. But I will link it for you down below. And I will say that this is the most difficult project that I have ever made. And that might be one of the reasons why I'm beating myself up, because it was really difficult. And it does not look exactly like the picture in the pattern. But it is what it is. And my daughter will cherish it because I made it. So anyway, that's enough about him. I don't know. I thought that after I bought the yarn for his body, that yarn was discontinued. So hopefully, if she's aware of that, she has put in some suggestions of replacement yarn. That yarn is acrylic and alpaca, I think, blend. And it's really nice to work with. It is a little bit splitty. You have to be careful when you're pulling your hook through. But man, it was really nice to work with. What was not nice to work with? This brown. It's called Pipsqueak, and it was really difficult. But if you do start this project, just message me, email me. I'll put my email below as well, and I will give you some tricks on how I did it, and we'll talk through it. Okay, so then next up is we're on to cross stitch, because we did knitting and crochet. So I have 2 finishes for the year in 2 different arts. Okay, I'm trying to find my WIP from this week. It is Vintage Animals by Jeanette Douglas. I worked on this Sunday, Monday on my lunch at work, Tuesday at my lunch at work, and then Wednesday I had to take the day off because, guys, our dryer died. The washing machine was not content to be there with the old dryer. It kicked it to the curb. So I had to be here for the delivery drivers to bring in the new dryer. Not necessarily complaining because I got an extra day off. So I worked on this, and then the rest of my lunch breaks for the week, like I said, I worked on the hat to get this done. So I didn't get a ton done, but I am happy with my progress so far. Okay. So here we are, Vintage Animals by Jeanette Douglas. Oh, I didn't even show you the cover page. That's rude. You don't even know what it looks like. Sorry about the noise. These plastic bags are great, but they also are noisy. So here is what it's supposed to look like. I am working on the bottom. So quite a bit left to go, but it's all right. I am in no hurry to get this one done. So what I did this week was there was a strand hanging from here last time. I did finish that up just so that way it wasn't in the way. And then I came over here and I did VWT almost, oops, you probably can't see it, almost all the U and the S. I did a couple of the small brown letters. Let's see, did I do W and V? And I did the squirrel. I tore the squirrel out and put him back in with a different color. And then I started working on that flower there. And I don't know if it's a bleeding heart or a columbine. An orchid maybe. I'm not really sure. Now, what I will say about that is it's supposed to be two different color yellows. And I'm not sure if that shows up. I'm not really impressed with the color conversions on this one, like I talked about last time. but it's okay because I'm going to make it work. Because even the green here, I had to swap out because that was, I think, one that wasn't working in this pattern with the other colors that I had. So, but what I did is I took a Post-it note and I wrote down the symbol and I wrote down what color I changed it to, because it was really a hindrance to me every time I picked up the chart. I mean, even like if I sat it down and picked it up 5 minutes later, I was getting lost because of the color conversion. So I did get that done. I put it in there. It's super helpful. This one is being stitched with the called for DMC. Some of it is called for blending colors, and I'm not doing that. I just picked a color that I liked from the selection that she offered, and I'm just going with that. I'm stitching it on 28 count Monaco in Dove Gray. And I know it's quite different than the like tanny beige color, but I think the final product is going to be fabulous. Plus, blue was my grandma's favorite color, and I'm stitching this in honor of my grandparents. So for me, it kind of makes sense. Okay, the next one is Lady of the Flag. This was my new start, but also it's my focus piece for the year. I was going to start it on January 1st for a new year, new start, but the fabric didn't come. I finally got the fabric, and this is what she looks like. I am stitching this one for my daughter. She wants the lady's dress to be a teals. So I found a teal conversion online. There's a whole entire group dedicated to Mirabilia conversions. So if you have a chart, but you're like, maybe I want her dress to be pinks instead of blues. It's crazy to me that the creativity and the know-how of these ladies on how to do these conversions is just spectacular. So in that group, I found a conversion to make teal, and my daughter loves it. And here is where I am so far. I am using the 30 count We the People fabric from the Primitive Hare. It is a linen. I'm not a fan of linen, and so I am doing my best. I am pushing forward. So last week I just had a little bit here, and then all the rest I got done. So what I have been doing with this one is when I get up in the morning and I get ready, because I just naturally wake up early, I have about an hour to hour and 20 minutes before I have to walk out the door. And so I stitch in that time, since I'm all ready for work and ready to go. And so I can get 3 to 6 strands in, which is about 3 strands is about 150 stitches. So 6 strands is 300 stitches. So I can get a lot of stitches in before I even go to work if the area that I'm stitching is not too complicated and I don't have to keep counting and watching for mistakes. And then when I get home in the evening, then I would stitch some more if I had time. So again, this is my progress so far. Set her down. I did talk to my local needle workshop owner about, she asked me yesterday if I started it, and I said, yes, I started it, and talked to her about the linen. And I was probably, again, being a little bit too hard on myself, but I didn't feel that my stitches were very nice. And I said, but it's okay, because I don't stitch for perfection. I just stitch to stitch, and this is my daughter's, and she's going to love it no matter what. And I said, because I'm not putting it in the fair. And she said, but why not? So we had a discussion about putting it in the fair. And one time she went to the fair and saw the entrance and what won and what didn't win. And she said, the piece itself is fabulous. So even if some of your stitches aren't the greatest, she said they're going to overlook it. And so I'm considering it. But for this piece, it may not happen. I do have, if you remember the Merry Christmas freebie from Hello from Liz Matthews, I stitched that on 18 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed, and I used 1 strand. Of course, 1 strand, nothing's getting twisted. The stitches are laying flat. Everything's perfect. I had already contemplated putting that into the fair if it fit one of the categories. So if you live in Saginaw County, Michigan, join me in adding something to the fair, because last year there wasn't very many cross-stitch designs put in the fair, and I think that showing could be greater, and just to show everybody that the craft isn't dead yet, and it can be so much more than the old school things that they saw in the 80s and 90s. So join me, email me, and we'll chat about it, and we can even bounce ideas off of each other, especially when the fair packet is posted. Then we can chat about what to submit for what category, because I think last year they had 5 or 6 different categories. I'm just waiting. I've checked a couple times, but it's not uploaded yet. Okay, I want to show you the floss for this. Lady of the Flag. This is the floss so far on my new thread drops, and I still have 9 skeins, if I counted correctly. They're stuck. 9 skeins left that I have not put on here. So this uses a ton of floss. But what I think is great is because my husband wants one as well. And I think, especially for the floss is used for her skin, I'm not going to use an entire skein of floss. So what I will do is leave the whole entire thing right in here when I'm done with my daughters, and this will be for when I start that one. And Colette at the store also said, don't start it right away after you finish this one. And I said, no. If I finish this one, this year, I will not start my husband's project until next year. So I do not think that he will get any cross stitch pieces for gifts until after I get his Lady of the Flag done. He also wants it stitched on the We the People fabric, but I said I don't think that I can do it. I don't think that I can stitch 2 large pieces on the same fabric that I don't care for. And I said it would be really great if we could put it on a different fabric and have the 2 pieces to compare and like compare contrast. So I am looking at 32 count Lagana, and in like the color that it calls for. Well, I don't know if I could get the exact color that it calls for in Lugana. It says French lace linen by Wilchelt Imports. So it's kind of white. And I did get, oh, I forgot to bring it up here, but it's nothing spectacular. In my purchases, I was going to show you that I did get 4 tubes of 28 count white Monaco, but they're not big enough. I need it to be 31 by like 22, and it's only 20 by 24. So I think that that's why I was thinking about Lugana, because it's similar. It's an even weave. Okay, and you're all like, stop talking about the Lady of the Flag. You're going to be talking about her forever. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about her for a couple months. But here's going to be the cool thing. I was thinking that each week that I show you the frame with what got stitched, at the end, I'll take a snapshot of each of those weeks and then do like a time-lapse video so we can all see what it looks like to stitch her from week 1 to week whatever it ends up to be. So anyway, just chatting with my friends here about my project. All right, so next up is a wheel spin for a WIP. Again, if you're new here, I spin like a decision wheel on my app, on my phone. It's an app that you can get. There's multiple different ones. A lot of people use the Tiny Decisions app, but I couldn't get it figured out. I don't know what was wrong with me that day, but I just chose a different one. So there's different ones to choose from, especially if you're an Android. I'm sure that they have different ones available. So I spun this. It's Merry Christmas by Teresa Kogut. And I was like, oh man. Now, technically, it landed on the Nativity by the Prairie Schoolers, but of course, I don't have the Krynic because I don't think that they're making that one right now. They're only making the top 50 items that they produce. They're only doing the top 50 right now. So I'm thinking that that's going to be a long-term project because I'm waiting for it to come in. So I had to spin it again. It came up on this. I don't have a picture to show you because all that was available for this freebie was the chart. But that's the cool thing, is you get to see it along with me. So this is where I ended when I stitched this for 12 days of Christmas, or 12 days of stitching. And not very much, but I think this week during my lunch breaks, I'll be able to get more done. So yeah, I'll be able to get some done. Maybe I'll stitch on the letters and try to get Christmas finished. This is stitched on 18 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed. I am kind of using, look at this mess. I didn't have thread drops at that time, so I just shoved them in the bag. Kind of the called for colors, kind of not called for colors. I think maybe I just pulled colors that looked good or what I had in my stash. I can't remember. I've had this kitted for a while, so. Okay, so then I have one more one more wheel that I spin, and it's for a new start. So I am back to 3 projects a week, but it'll be okay. Lady of the Flag will get, you know, maybe morning stitching, and then my WIP will get, or my new start will get evening stitching. I don't know, maybe whatever I feel like. If I get to a point in Lady of the Flag, I'm like, I'm not stitching on you right now, I don't feel like it, then I'll stitch on this. It came up for Winter, Seasons in Chalk Winter by Hands On Design, artwork by Priscilla Blaine of Stitching with the Housewives. And I am stitching it on 28 count Monaco, black Monaco. I have a whole bunch. And it only calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. I have one, which is fine. I have a little tiny bit, 18 strands. That's it. 18 strands of DMC black. That's it. So I figured I will work on this project until I get the 18 strands done. And when I get the 18 strands done, I will just put my efforts into the other 2 projects for the week and call it a day. And what I'll do is I'll put the floss colors on a list that I need. I think I have one going on my notes app. I'll put it on my list, and the next time that I go to the stitching store, I will get my floss colors and I will add them to the project bag, and then the next time that it comes up on the spin, I will have more to work on. So I did not check I have a bag of floss that I got from a garage sale or something, and I did not check there because it was up here and I was down there. So I will check there to see if I have some of the other colors. But if I don't, like I said, it's no big deal. I'll just put these 18 strands in. And 18 strands is what, about 900 stitches? So that would not be too shabby if all I did was 900 stitches in black. So, okay. I think that is, my pile is gone. So I think that's all I have to talk about this week. I want to thank everyone for watching my last video and watching the bonus cut, which was my second 6 months of 2021, my finishes. And then it also included my WIP parade for what I was taking out of 2021. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't see anything. I don't think that I got any more purchases. Because I didn't, yeah, I think I just got that Monaco, but I forgot to bring it up, but it's just white Monaco. I didn't have any white, and what I discovered when I started Where There Are Bees, I called it the wrong thing last time. It's called Where There Are Bees by the Prairie Schooler. It was supposed to be on white fabric, but I didn't have white fabric, so I put it on the antique white. I think it's antique white, and it looks great. But I'm like, you know, if there's white out there, I should probably get some. So I did. I got some, and I'm super excited about it. And it's going to come up here in my stash. And the next time I want white, I'll have it. So I'm super happy about that. But I believe that's the only thing that I got this week. Yeah, I don't remember spending anything. So We talked about knitting, we talked about crochet, we talked about Lady of the Flag and the rest of the projects, and the little bit I got in purchases, and I think that's all. I'm super happy about knocking these 2 projects off of my WIP list. The next, I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. They're all staring at me, you know, when I'm sitting here, but I don't know yet. So I'm just going to give it, a week or 2 and see what WIP I'm going to pick up next in the terms of crochet or knitting and see what happens. So stay tuned. You never know when it's going to come up. In the meantime, I hope that you have a great crafting time come to you and you can get some things off your WIP list too. Bye.